Asad Umar. He's the Minister of Finance for Pakistan. As we all know, this is a new government, and it is in the midst of committing to a new strategic future, prioritizing the building of human capital. Asad Umar, the Minister of Finance for Pakistan.
Thank you very much, and thanks for inviting me to participate. As you mentioned, we are a new government. We are relatively a new political brought into governance at the federal level for the first time. And one of the reasons why we've been voted into power, at least that's what we believe, is the fact that our manifesto and the communication of our leader is centered around human development. As Dr. Kim pointed out earlier, obviously countries need infrastructure for development and growth, and you also need to develop your people. So you need both, but it's a question of what do you prioritize and what comes first in your mind. And so it's probably for the first time that a party has been voted into power in Pakistan, which believes that human capital development is absolutely central to the development of the country on a sustainable basis and places it at the top of its priorities. And that to me is the first step in any change that you want to make. It's the prioritization. And some of the things, as I said, you will find in the manifesto, but the kind of thing which catches people's attention, I've even heard in the last 2 days, people I've met here commenting on it. The first speech of the Prime Minister, he spoke at length about the problem of stunting and how it's limiting the potential of Pakistan and the need to address it. So hopefully this prioritization will be reflected in the investments that we make as we move forward. Obviously, it's just been 7 weeks since we've come in. And obviously, without resources, you cannot make changes. So that's certainly a priority or certainly a prerequisite. But I strongly believe, at least that's been our experience in Pakistan, I assume that would be the case around the world, it's not just the resources, it's how well you use them. And governance, therefore, becomes a key. And even though we've been voted to power for the first time in the center, our party did hold a provincial government. One of the provinces was run by us 5 years back. We voted in power there. And our experience there showed how critical the governance changes are. And I'll mention some of these as I go along. It may seem very rudimentary, very simple to you, but in the case like Pakistan, small changes can have big impacts. Let me talk a little bit about the health area and what we need to do or what we are planning to do in order to improve the outcomes that we are seeing in the health area. Clearly, neither in education nor in health do we see the outcomes that the people of Pakistan really deserve. In the area of health, one of the principal decisions that we have made is to reprioritize. One is to increase the resources, which has to be done, but even then, obviously, we'll have finite resources at our hand. And we have seen, and that's the reflection of the kind of elite capture of society and policy making that you see in Pakistan, a disproportionately high budget allocation for tertiary healthcare compared to primary healthcare. And as in the Human Capital Index or the World Bank rightly emphasizes, it's those investments in primary healthcare which have the much greater impact on the lives of most of the people, particularly the children who are the future. So that reprioritization is one of the priorities. The other thing that we had done in the province, and now we're rolling it out at a federal level, is a health insurance scheme. We call it an Insaf health card, Insaf being part of the name of the political party that we have. It means justice. And it's a healthcare scheme which has been very effective in not just basically giving the power of decision making into the hands of the consumers. So using the same government budget, but providing it through the demand side rather than the supply side, which is traditionally the way things had been done. And that has a very powerful impact because the consumer then acts as the principal agent of accountability, and it improves performance because if you don't perform, you don't have patients coming in. And I think that's also a major part of the governance reform that needs to be made. Instead of the bureaucrats deciding how much money will go where, if we put more and more money into the hands of the people and the consumers and let them decide, it can have a really positive impact. The other change that on the health side we need to make is there is not enough attention given to nutrition, and we